What is la cabeza?
La cabeza, that's the head.
Uh,
All right, let's see. Why is this acting weird? Oh, I know what's going on. Okay, sorry, I just got to deal with a technical issue. Okay, great. Yes, there is my shiny bald head. So Cooper will be watching today, I believe. Okay. And let me just double check that, yeah, things are going well. Okay. So we got a lot of stuff to cover in chapter 8 today, which is what we're reviewing. And this is like the chapter that when I was going over it last year, I was like, oh my gosh, how do they cram so much in one chapter? But of course, I'm not going to hold you accountable for all of it. So there's like tons and tons and tons of vocabulary that you don't need to know, but doesn't hurt to know if you aren't overwhelmed by the amount. So I'll just give you the usual 25 words, but there is just so much stuff in this chapter, it's kind of insane.
Yeah, I had to like on the white part one and on the narrow one, I had to look back.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like I had the sheet open and I would go through it, read the question out, and then like try and fill in the blanks.
All right, so the first thing we should go over is possessive adjectives. So translation.
Is something of.
Isn't that like the? Is
And
it?
cabra is
it
goat.
Lucia's-
Yeah, is
Yeah.
the goat.
Good.
Goat.
So you can say like is a couple of ways you can kind of translate that would be like, is the goat Lucia's, or you could just really say, is that Lucia's goat?
Is a goat?
I guess
Are you
so.
the goat? Or are you the goat?
And I could say something like, sí
Yes.
es la cabra de Lucia. Sabi, yes, that is Lucia's goat. But what if you don't want to say Lucia again, or of Lucia?
That is her.
Okay, and how would I say that?
You could use like. Or you use
Sue.
who?
Now, I could do like la cabra de,
Anna's
something else,
so
but
great that she answered. for
Sue,
me.
very good, yes, okay. Sí es su cabra. Translation, yes, that is her goat. Okay? But let's say instead, es la cabra de Jorge.
That's me. Let's go.
How would I say, yes, that is his goat?
I don't know. I am the goat.
Okay.
Okay.
Say again?
This has you have another word, C S cabra.
Exactly. So Sue, now it means, yes, that is his goat. All right. Yes. So Sue is going to be used to mean, basically his, her, its also. It takes on different meanings depending on what it's referring back to. It's a possessive pronoun, and it's the third person that will just like, it can take in on whatever gender it needs to, depending on the person you're referring to. So that's how Sue is going to work. It can also be used for usted. Like, if I say something like that, like, su cabra está aquí en mi estómago. Any ideas? And let's say we're talking about Lucia still, or let's say Jorge.
Her goat, his goat is here in my stomach.
Very good. His goat is here in my stomach.
No.
Um,
Joe.
But then if we were saying like, let's change this. Let's say, ¿Dónde está la cabra de Jorge? So where is Jorge's goat? His goat is here in my stomach. But if you say, ¿Dónde está la cabra de Salma? Then we would translate this instead as what with the soup? Her goat, yeah. Very good. And it can also mean, I said a second ago, it can mean like, it could be used for usted, to be possessive. I can take the same sentence, actually. I guess I didn't need to erase it, but I could say, you know, like, Señor, su cabra está aquí en mi estómago. What would that be?
Sir.
It's usted because you're talking to a sir.
Yeah, sir, your goat is.
Yes. So now it's going to be your goat. All right, now all of these, we were using su instead of sus. When would you use sus?
Plural.
Good. So sus cabras.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, sus cabras están en mi estómago. Or las cabras de, you know, Lucia, you could say sus cabras. So you make it plural when the thing being possessed is plural. Make sense? All right, so I started with the hardest one. Now let's do the easier ones. What are the other possessive pronouns? What if it's my? Good. So I can say, es la cabra de mí. Or I could say, it is the goat of me. And that is an acceptable way to say it. Or I could just say, what?
Me is the goat.
It is my goat.
Es mi cabra.
Me is the goat.
Same meaning, but this one seems more natural to us as English speakers and it's shorter. All right, what if it is, you know, mis cabras? And how would we change the verb? What would it be if it was mis cabras instead of es? That would be if it were estar, but I'm doing ser. So, very good. Yeah, good, Pedro. Son mis cabras. I could say, son tus cabras. What is that?
Your goats.
Yeah, they're your, and that's informal, goats. If you're saying they're your goats and you're speaking to an usted, then it'll be sus. But yeah, they are your goats, son tus cabras. Or you could say es tu cabra. What about our?
Nuestro.
Good. And these get a little more complicated because nuestro ends in an O. So, es nuestra cabra. It is our goat. But I could say es nuestro mono. What's that?
It is our monkey.
It is our monkey. Yes. Or son nuestras cabras versus son nuestros monos. See how the mechanics are working? All right, so quick recap. Me and mis, that's pretty easy. Tu and tus, that's pretty easy. Su and sus is easy, except that you have to take into account that you use su to be like his, hers, its, or usted's, like as in your, but formal. And then the ones that you have to look out for a little bit more because of needing to actually have like, you know, an ending that fits the gender and number of whatever you're possessing, that's going to be nuestro. And also, vuestro. When do you think you would use vuestro? And where in the world would you use
In
it?
Spain.
In Spain, yes. So that's a form of, that's a possessive of vosotros. So if you're saying that's y'all's goat, then that's how you do it, because that's the you, plural.
People say y'all in Spain.
I wonder if there's, the thing is, like, in any country and language or whatever, like, there will often be equivalents to, kind of like what we think of as like a slang or, less formal dialect. So my friend Phoenix, he when he was a teenager, he worked at a really, really shady hotel and had a night shift. And so he'd basically just watch anime all night. Great childhood, yes. But anyway, so he was explaining to me this one anime that he showed us where there's this lady who owns like a hotel, and she's from a southern part of Japan. And then with the voice acting in English, what they decided to do to convey that she was from the southern region was they had her speak in a southern accent. So you got like this anime character with a southern accent. It was really funny. But there was also, like, in the same one, there was this really, really obnoxious guy with a southern accent, like a really annoying southern accent. And of course, he's Japanese, so like all the characters were Japanese. And they weren't even just, it was even worse because they were like historical Japanese,
Oh god.
like samurais and stuff. And he's all like, I'm going to beat you up, lickety split, and things like that. And they're like, what the heck am I listening to?
That's great.
It's like, why would they choose that for that character? Anyway, yeah, he literally said lickety split. It was annoying.
That's really popular.
Wait, they're Japanese, and they're, that's just not right.
Because, I mean, it was made in Japan, but then they have English voice actors, that Americans or whoever chose.
That's why you should just watch it.
So, okay. So everyone's good with those? All right. I kind of wish there wasn't so much in 1 week. But another thing to review, this is one that, like, really, hopefully you guys have gotten pretty solidly just by doing a lot of Duolingo, because that's really how I learned it. You ever been confused by the difference between, like, I'll just kind of, I'll have to make a chart for this. You might want to take a picture of the chart when I'm done. These are called demonstrative adjectives. And by demonstrative, what does it mean to demonstrate?
Like to show and
To show. Good. So imagine these are like the adjectives that you would say when you point, like when you show something, like this, bottle in my bag of or my box of science trash. Or why is the camera totally out of focus? That's not good. Just one moment. I'll make it focus on my finger, and I will draw my finger back. And it didn't work. Okay. Maybe I'll move this back a little bit. Or Cooper.
Cooper is wanting.
He probably is. I hope he is.
Is he on Zoom?
No, I'm the only one.
Wow, Cooper. Text Cooper and tell him to get on Zoom.
Nah, that's fine. He can watch it afterward. I'm recording it. So, all right. So we have este, esta, and this is going to mean this. Okay. Now, if we have these, we have anybody remember?
Estos, está.
Very good.
Este.
I didn't mean to do esa. That's another one.
I was like,
Yes, like I'm already messing up. Este, esta, not esta, but esta. Estos, estas. And you say these if it's like near the speaker. So, that's how we would use that in English. If something's near me, I would say this. But what would we say if something's far away?
there.
That, like that overhead projector. In Spanish, it's a little more complex than that.
Why is the trash can up there? Probably should no one puts more trash in it.
I say we put trash on top of it for them.
All right, so now we have that and those. This is going to be ese, and then esa. So I learned these really through Duolingo because, I mean, what about you guys? Have you gotten pretty good at them just from, because they often have these.
I just think of like the closer things has a T and then the ones are far doesn't.
Yeah, that's how I do it too. Those, esos, esas. All right, now if it's far away from both the speaker and listener, then you use some others that I'm not actually requiring you to memorize these, but just because there are too many words. Far from, I'll just say far from both, meaning the speaker and the listener. And these are going to be aquel. Oops, I didn't mean that. These will get translated actually as that and those as well. But it's more of a that over there. Then there yonder. That's how we would translate it, right? Okay, so aquel. Plural, the those, aquellos. And then we have aquella and aquellas. And it's kind of annoying because you also have some neuter ones that make this more confusing. Like so far, I'm pretty good. I'm like, all right, so the ones with the T's are close, the ones without T's are far, and then the ones that are forms of aquel are that and those. So they're like far from both the speaker and listener. That's good. I got that. But then there's some neuter ones that make it a little more complicated. So this is going to be esto. And wouldn't you expect that to be masculine?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's not. I mean, I would think this would be neuter and this would be masculine, but no. So that throws things off. Same thing with eso, neuter for that. And then that far away is going to be aquello. So I suppose at least it follows a pattern. And the pattern is that the neuter ones look masculine and the masculine ones look neuter in the singular. So just watch out for those. All the feminine ones are easy, right? In fact, here's maybe my advice. Memorize the feminine ones. So this, esta, these, estas, that, esa, those, esas, that, aquella, this is like far from both, aquellas. And then from there, just remember that like the E forms are going to be masculine. Like if you were to replace your A's with the E's, that's masculine. And if you were to replace your E's with O's, that's neuter. So, or your A's with O's, that's neuter. So any questions about those? I want to take a picture of this because when you just read it, it's not really this clear in my opinion. So I'll give you a minute to do that if you want. And if you try to like look at this on the video afterward, it's somewhat legible. It's not the best.
It's like the essay and shows the light.
The picture I took of that. Dude.
We don't say that here.
Thank you for keeping him in check.
Oh no.
Mr. Nicholson's hands.
It's like blinding the.
Yeah, it's
the
funny
camera.
because you were blocking the glare so you can just see an outline, like every shadow.
All right. Let's do this then. We've done our demonstrative adjectives, and These are actually considered demonstrative pronouns, by the way, these right here, but they're kind of, you know, in most languages, those are a little bit fluid. There's a whole bunch of nationalities. I'll just kind of say a few for fun. And it's very thorough. Like you have like, if someone is from Poland and things like that. And they don't really tell you what they are in English. You just kind of have to figure that out. But so let's see, what's an interesting one? So American, there's a couple ways you could say that. One of them's in the book, but the more interesting way is not. So you could say, like, to say I'm American, you could say like what's literally North American, and that is Norte Americano. I'm on page 106 if you want to look at these, they're kind of fun. But the one that I've learned in the past was let's see if anyone can pronounce this. It's a 7-syllable word to say American. Anyone want to try?
Estadounidense.
Good, you're pretty close.
Estados Unidos de America?
Nope.
No. Oh, that.
It's derived from Los Estados Unidos, but
Estadounidense.
the hardest thing is going to be figuring out where the accent is. So where's the accent if it ends in a vowel?
Oh.
Second to last. Then. So, any other attempts?
Estadounidense.
Okay, everyone say this with me. Estadounidense. Estadounidense. So I could be like, someone could be like, usted es de los Estados Unidos? And I'd be like, sí, yo soy estadounidense. Yes, I am United Statesian.
Norte Americano.
Why do you have
Other
Dutch
one.
in here of all things?
Yeah, no, it's got like all kinds of stuff.
It's actually the second most spoken language in the world.
Really?
Really?
Yes, I'm joking.
That wouldn't make any sense.
It's the third most.
But some of these country names are kind of fun, like Finlandia, it's Finland. But the continents are good to know as well. They're down at the bottom. As I was talking about anime a second ago, Japan, Japón. And
Like every single
and this one's interesting. England, Inglaterra, Inglaterra. And so that works because land is terra. So everyone say Inglaterra.
Inglaterra.
Good. All right, so I'll move on from those, but they're fun. So, I mean, and I actually took out the exercise this week where you would be using them because I just thought, that's a lot of flipping back. But if you want to learn them on your own, go for it. All right. We also have on page 108, since you have your books open, you'll be reviewing that there's a bunch of adjectives that actually come before nouns. So in general, adjectives are going to come after nouns. So if I say like the old car, how would I say that?
They are. It's the Carro Viejo.
Good. So am I actually saying the old car? What am I saying if I were to like just literally say what's on the board?
The car old.
The car old, yes.
Car Dubio.
So take a look at on page 108 and 109, where they're talking about different, they're listing, and actually really, there's even more, there's like it's through page 111, but the ones that precede a noun, first of all, we have bueno and malo. So I would say el buen carro or el mal carro. And they also are funny because they drop the O for the masculine. El buen carro versus el mal carro. So those are two that come before the nouns they modify. Another one would be adjectives that express quantity. And if you've studied Latin before, as a lot of you have, then this actually makes a lot of sense. Because in Latin, it's pretty much always like the adjectives of quality come after and the adjectives of quantity come before. Not exactly the same as in Spanish, but we do have a pattern of a lot of Spanish adjectives coming before if they are about quantity. So what do I mean by about quantity? For example, if I say, tengo mucho dinero. What does that mean?
I have a lot of money.
Very good. Mucho, it's not dinero mucho, it's mucho dinero. And so mucho is much or many. I have many money. But we can translate that as a lot of. It can actually mean a lot of. So, or I can say, tengo poco dinero. So that's like, I have a little money, or it can also mean a few, but it makes more sense to say a little with money. So these are the examples of just like adjectives of quantity. You know, how much do you have? I have mucho, I have poco, I have bastante. Anyone remember bastante?
No one to, I know.
Is it a little?
That's going to be, so a lot, a little, bastante is
Enough.
enough. Very good. That's a good one to have, especially like if you're in a restaurant and they're like, you know, grating cheese on your salad and you could be like, bastante, bastante. You could also probably just, you know, say like alto, stop, but you know, whatever. You could also say suficiente, which is the same thing, basically sufficient. But that will also come before suficiente. So you get the idea. A lot of the adjectives that come before nouns are quantity or numerical. I'm not giving you the whole list right now. Or like, you know, based on the order. Like some other examples, I could say a phrase like el próximo año. What are you guys exchanging back there?
It's money.
Money?
I was getting my stuff out of my
Levi
phone.
was counting his
Like
coins.
change.
Uh,
I have $1 in quarters, even though I only paid like $1. They give me
Okay.
the wrong change.
What were you really doing?
so
He was straight up just counting.
I was
his
counting my
coins.
change.
I was choosing the floor, but I didn't want to know what was happening.
So el próximo año, that's going to be, what is próximo?
Is it like close?
Actually, that's good. Yeah, but here it's going to mean something like, it's going to mean next.
Oh, okay.
So you could also say, like, these are also kind of like numerical in a way. Único is only. Último, that's going to be last. So anyway, I'll stop there, but pay attention to those particular adjectives that come in weird places and have, you know, just kind of strange placement. All right. I'm just racing through everything today. I'm sorry that there's not really much time to stop and practice. Just kind of a big grammar dump in chapter 8. And vocab. But don't worry, your homework's not going to be like, it's about normal size. But you will be reading all this stuff, so that makes it a little bit longer. Okay, we also have comparative adjectives. So this is, let's see, should I pit you against each other?
Yes.
Tempt you to make
Table
mean
versus
sentences?
As long as I'm not against Levi.
Well, that's actually exactly what I was going to do.
No. We're a package deal.
So we're using, okay, we'll use somebody other than you guys. Comparative adjectives. So name 2 names that are not people in the class.
Cooper. Wait, does Cooper
Jesus.
count?
Is Cooper
Trevor.
Trevor,
AK.
Can we do Cooper and Trevor?
People who aren't in Libertas, how about that? Well, how about this? Let's take
Just like celebrities?
Oh, yeah.
fictional characters. Let's do that.
Fictional characters?
Yeah.
I was gonna say Bill
Builder.
Gates,
Like,
but okay.
Okay.
Bob the Builder.
I'll just say-
And I
Dora
guess
Bob
we
the Builder.
mascot.
Bob the Builder.
Yes.
That was
Peppa the Pig.
No, yeah, Bob the Builder, Peppa the Pig, or someone from Backyardigans.
Okay, so Bob the
No,
Builder
The purple.
is
I don't know.
más, I don't know, what, let's say, más guapo que Barney.
Oh,
There you go. Or if I did like SpongeBob, that's SpongeBob Roberto's Square Pantalones, I think is what it is. It's like it's half English, half Spanish, and I'm like, I have to adjust the way I'm saying it mid-sentence. But, all right, so, but here we go. Bob the Builder es más guapo que Barney. Translation?
oh
Bob the
gosh.
Builder is more handsome than Barney.
Very good. So what's this construction I'm using here? Es más blank que.
That doesn't say very much.
Barney is really just a dinosaur that wants to put you in his basement.
I don't know what the guy in this suit, but I'd say Bob the Builder is more handsome than the purple and green suit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, she had a great dog, like,
but if you wanted to say that Bob the Builder is less handsome, then how would you do that? Menos, good. Es menos guapo que.
Uh-oh.
No,
So that's how you do comparatives. You can use like is more adjective than, we don't say like handsomer or something like that, you know. In Spanish, it's going to be more blank than blank, and or less blank than blank. But if we wanted to say as handsome as Bob the Builder es something guapo something.
Can we say more or less? Is more handsome?
Well, not as a comparative, not really. But what would I insert here? Es blank, guapo blank. You want to remember? To say that he is as handsome as Barney.
Oh wait,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
Tom.
not like.
I didn't say it.
Es tan guapo and como. Yes, good. Because como is like or as anyway. So that one actually makes sense. Es tan guapo como Barney.
Barney is as tan. There you go.
And let's pause for just a moment, and I'll let you come up with some sentences real quickly, or we'll translate. So give me a couple adjectives.
Okay. Are we still using Bob the Builder and Barney?
If you come up with something else while we're coming up with the adjectives, sure. So fuerte means,
How do you say clues?
what's that?
What is the word for clues?
Clues? I don't know.
Blues
Blues.
Yes, I'm thinking blues.
As
Well, technically, you would be talking about two different characters and two different things. One from Rio and then one from the show.
annoying.
So
So rude.
but the other thing is, I guess the dog's name is Blue. It's not Blue's Clues, because
Oh, it is?
yeah, the dog's name
His
is Blue.
blue, or is he a blue tick?
Oh, there's such a thing as a blue tick dog. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Now, I got fuerte. I need one or two others.
That's what I was saying, annoying.
Oh, annoying.
I don't know what that is in Spanish.
Why do you keep?
S.
I mean, I could say like foolish or stupid.
That's stupid.
Yes, yeah, so you can say- I'll say tonto.
Yes.
So tonto. That's gonna be like foolish.
Toronto.
Isn't like stupido stupid?
Estupido, yeah, stupid.
Yeah, do that.
Okay.
Actually, how stupid. Damn it.
I thought it was.
Okay. All right. So,
What about,
can someone tell
how
me?
would you say slat in Spanish?
Say what?
Slat isn't a real
Slat?
word.
I'm guessing that's like cringe or something that you would have to teach Mrs. Pitt. Anyway, yeah, I never heard that one before.
It means like slime love all the time, and slime means like friend, so it's just another word for like friend kind of.
Slat. Aaron loves it. Yes,
I see. Okay. Anyway, So let's say that Bob the Builder is as strong as Barney. How would I say Bob the Builder is as strong as Barney?